Thesis statement. The rapid change in technology and tactics in the early 20th century led to trench warfare, the first stepping stone to modern warfare. Hello, this video will be talking about trench warfare and the tactics it was used upon in World War I. This video is for my community college at SEC. If there's anything that seems incorrect, please let me know in the comment sections, and thank you. In modern day warfare, we use so much technology like Black Hawk helicopters, tanks, a whole variety of machine guns. The list goes on. But what was it like before all of this technology helped us fight? What was the bridge point between old warfare and modern warfare? Well, according to research, that bridge point and in between was World War I, or the Great War. Now, how did World War I start? Well, it all started with a conflict between Serbia and Austria-Hungary. There were rogue Serbian assassins called the Black Hand, which went to Austria and killed the Austrian-Hungarian Archduke as well as his life and fled back to the border. With all that, it started to build up with all the countries, leading to World War I. Now, what led to the trenches? When World War I first started, the French and the Germans and everyone else were using their old way of tactics of fighting. What they would do is they would just line up, point their guns, shoot at each other. But with this development from the Industrial Revolution, they got new arms, bolt-action rifles, and all this other new gizmos. So them realizing this, they had to bluntly find a new way of seeking shelter and finding new ways to attack the other ones crudely, making them dig down in the ground, forming trenches. With trenches, there are many different styles of trenches, but with World War I, they seem to have the most advanced types of trenches. Trenches can go from very simple, like little holes, to extremely complex, like the trenches that we had in World War I, that were like big labyrinths and can cross between entire continent or entire countries. Now, a very interesting thing between the Germans and their enemies, the Germans' enemies, they thought they weren't going to be there for a long time. They thought they would get out on Christmas, making them having very not long-lasting trenches, very crude and just not well built, because they thought they would be gone pretty soon. However, with the Germans, they knew they were going to be there for the long run, so they decided to hunker down, making very, very good trenches compared to the Slavs that they were fighting. They're not Slavs. They were pretty cool. Now, trenches are usually around 8 feet deep, or just enough for it to fully cover a standing human being. With trenches, they usually have zigzags, so if an enemy jumps in, they can't just automatically shoot somebody. There's like walls and stuff that will give the defenders extra protection. Now, what were the reasons for the trenches? To just put it up straight, if you did not have a trench at that time, you would just be out in the open and somebody could just shoot you so easily because there were hardly any foliage and you were just out there in the open. So you would be an easy kill if you were not in a trench. Before the Industrial Revolution, everyone had a very different style of fighting compared to modern warfare and trench warfare. What is that like? Like I said before, was very modest. Everyone would line up in a line and they would shoot at you and they would tuck cover, and Their style of fighting was very formal, very honorable. However, after World War I, this led to a lot of big things in the styles of fighting. From muskets, we went to snipers, tanks, gas, all the bombardment shells, all this new type of stuff that we got from World War I. Even in a really good book that I recommend you read, All Quiet on the Western Front, it talks about this change, about the style of fighting. They went from honorable fighting to playing dirty and fighting people very crudely. One of these new examples in World War I of these dirty ways of fighting, I don't know why I used quotation marks, but it was poisonous gas. What they would do is they would light or ignite it and have the breeze of the battlefield push the gas towards their enemies, making them choke and die. While it was a feared thing, it is kind of a misconception of a terrible way, or like a big thing that killed thousands and thousands of people. Sure, it did kill a good amount, but what I'm trying to say is that it didn't really kill that many people compared to a lot of other styles of fighting. It was more obnoxious rather than super deadly, because when the gas would come over, soldiers would have to put on the gas masks, and it would blur their vision and apprehend their breathing a lot. And it was more of a nuisance rather than a fully feared thing. One of the really feared things was flamethrowers. Flamethrowers was an incredibly horrible way to go out, and even if a flame trooper was captured, everyone was ordered to execute them because of just the cruel and harsh job of a flame trooper. However, those two different types of weapon was nothing compared to the machine gun. With the machine gun, it had killed thousands of troopers in World War I. Why it was so feared was because people went from muskets to bolt-action rifles to fully automatic machine guns, just shooting and mowing everyone down. So World War I was definitely a really big changing point between styles of fighting. In conclusion, a lot had happened in World War I, and it's best we don't forget what had happened and what these people did for us. Yes, World War I was a terrible thing that the world had to go through, but out of World War I, we had a very big boom of technology. Airplanes got more developed, medical aid got even more developed than that, just a whole tons of stuff because of World War I. So, never forget it. Never forget what these people did for you. And yeah, thank you for your time, and goodbye. One last note, World War I was the thing that made modern style of fighting. It led to modern warfare.